And we're back. All right. So, hello there, folks. Welcome back to today's episode of Today's Weather Tonight. I'm your host, your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson. So I guess I'll address the elephant in the room. No, I did not go back to rehab. I have been gone for a month and a half because of Hurricane Helene. Do we remember what happened about a month ago? My last broadcast was on September 26th, 2024, from Asheville, North Carolina. If you haven't heard, we had a devastating, record-breaking, historic event, historic amount of flooding for 2 days, followed by the actual passing of a major hurricane over Western North Carolina. So for the past month and a half, I have been moving again, volunteering almost nonstop to try to distribute supplies to people trying to survive this hurricane, and getting back to work, surprisingly. I've also had to move my computer in the process. I didn't have internet access at all for the first 3 weeks. I still don't have clean water to drink or shower in or anything. We're using like dirty city water that has not been treated. They kind of bypassed the treatment plant and just sent us the dirty water. So that's what's going on here. Drinking a lot of boxed water and brushing my teeth with bottled water. Yeah, what have you guys been up to? I think somebody made an 11/11 wish. Today is 11/11, November 11th, 2024. I believe that one of you asked for me to start broadcasting again because I decided to elect for this day to be the day that we return. I've been working on my background setup. As you can see, I'm trying to look like I'm, coming out of the ether or something, instead of out of the basement of a sober living home. Who's to say which one it is? I am also reevaluating the status of this podcast as a daily weather update and considering making this a more weekly check-in about what has happened in weather this week with an optional interview segment. So if changes to the format come, they'll come in the new year. Let's start this off. With a little as I moved that closer to the mic, I felt like an energetic pressure right here, like between the mic and the bowl, like the tether. Interesting. This is the heart chakra bowl, I'm pretty sure. Compassion, love, goodwill, all that jazz. Finally brought my singing bowl over here. I've also got a little fern. Gonna spice up. I'm not just putting plastic plants up here. This is probably not showing off her best side, but we're gonna get Fern all happy back here. I think, yes. I think up here do quite nicely. She's gonna be looking happier soon. I got a new camera. I haven't been able to use it as a webcam yet. I still have to do some troubleshooting, figuring out exactly what wasn't working. I think what wasn't working is that I need to plug this directly into the computer instead of via a USB hub. And I have the cords coming in for that tomorrow and the next day. So hopefully soon I will have an increased video capture quality, as well as this is a nice Zoom recorder mic. It's like for musicians to record their live shows. So I hope that I will be able to record some comedy sets for y'all and bring them to the internet as well in the new year, possibly. I just fixed my salt lamp as well. Spent my last $10 on this. Times are lean out here in Asheville, not just because I am in early sobriety, but also because the hurricane devastated our tourist economy in the middle of what should be the peak time of year for us to be depending on outside money. So everybody got $750 for, well, not everybody. Everyone who was lucky enough to get the FEMA money got $750, but not everyone got that. And if you did, that probably only covered like half your rent. So we did get a lot of donations here. So while I don't have money, I am rich in objects. I have so much canned corn, so many cans of corn, so many canned vegetables, so many canned peas. Just, what do you do in a flood? You just throw canned food at them. And I am grateful for that, because I did not have any food stores of my own built up other than my like shelf stable food before the storm. So in the immediate aftermath, I spent time in a house by myself. I can say this because you can't go back in time and rob me in the past. I was here by myself. Hello, viewer. I'm happy you're here. I'm just giving an update on Hurricane Helene, what happened. I've been gone for a month because it took a month to get internet back, and a few more weeks for me to get my sanity back. I mean, I didn't go insane per se, but I was not taking any breaks and working myself sick, as some people like to say. So I've started taking a little bit more time off, not going so balls to the walls with scrambling to take donations and get them where they need to go. It's been really fun having a job spring up out of nowhere that immediately ends, because I'm only going to be doing immediate hurricane relief for like the first few months, and then we'll pivot back into long-term community sustaining mutual aid type projects, and hopefully this will kick my butt into gear into being like committed to those commitments. But it I was kind of like volunteering like it was my job for a while, and that does not actually pay any money. I did get some awesome swag though. I got some winter coat and some boots, and so many canned goods. I got so many little packs of tuna, not the cans of tuna, but the little, they look like little pieces of paper, little pamphlets of tuna. I have like a book full of pamphlets of tuna. So, and so much cool boxed water brought to you by Sophia. Who's Sophia? I don't know, but she's bringing us boxed water. It feels weird to drink out of this, but this is only a liter. I feel like I'm breaking the rules, like I'm drinking out of the almond milk carton or something. Okay, so a lot of you might be wondering, I'm not sure who's here watching. It might be my mom because she's not commenting. But she knows how to comment, so I'm not sure who it is. But I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. I survived. Many people didn't. And that's really unfortunate, and it's been a lot to process. Basically, I'm not going to do a huge update today. There is a lot to talk about with it when it comes to the weather. There are earthquakes. We had a 6.8 earthquake in Cuba yesterday. We also had a 6.2 in South America, and so many 4s and 5s globally. We've also had torrential flooding in Spain. The rain in Spain does not fall mostly on the plain. And we've had just a banner year for crazy weather in the fall. Everything I was analyzing about astrometeorology before my break, before the little storm-induced hiatus, came to pass. We had a storm during the eclipse that was on the Pisces Virgo axis that was really heavily dominated by moving, changing, mutable earth and water. So torrential floods, mudslides, that kind of damage was Hurricane Helene. That coincided with the earth water eclipse. And then 2 weeks later, Hurricane Milton was notable for its fast winds, classic hurricane type behavior, landfall in Tampa Bay, breaking records of something hadn't made landfall, and I made landfall in Tampa Bay for like 120 years. Something like that. So really interesting parallels to historic classic air movement type of storm with Milton and the Libra Aries axis. Really interesting that all of this is happening as we get that Uranus-Neptune sextile in Pisces and Taurus. Again, we're also seeing the end of Pluto in Capricorn. That is bringing a lot of capitalism's failures to light through the natural disasters that are happening. And also highlighting the, utility of building networks of friendships and community, and trusting the process of doing what you love in order to find people with common interests, in order to find people who will be there for you in times of disaster. I gotta say, this has been an overwhelmingly hope-inspiring experience for me, but it's also been truly devastating to be correct. It's like it's not the best feeling in the world to be right about stuff that sucks. And I was right about this hurricane being kind of like the worst possible scenario imaginable. Only I felt really guilty for a long time that I didn't warn enough people or couldn't get the message out there enough to stop the damage. I felt really personally responsible for all the people that lost loved ones and things and homes and relationships to the earth because of this storm, because I felt like, as somebody who had the foresight to know that this was going to happen, it felt like my fault a little bit at first that I didn't warn enough people. But I did my best. I did my best to warn everybody that I could. I just didn't have as big of a network as I wished I had had for people to hear me. And some of my friends heard me. Some of you all heard me. I just didn't believe in myself enough to make a bigger stink out of it before the hurricane. I didn't want to alarm people falsely. I was more afraid of alarming people falsely than believing my actually happening. So that's a lesson learned. It's been truly the country and all over the globe, for the locals on the ground doing the work of repairing and rebuilding. We're just barely starting to scratch the surface of the rebuilding process, and people are going to be, there's always been a housing crisis in this area. There's going to be even more of one this winter, and people who have possibly never been without a home before are going to have to face their first winter without traditional shelter. So, we're going to need a lot more support as we go through the winter months. That's just how it is. I should probably link in the comments to places you can donate to support on the ground efforts to keep people alive. I personally have been spending a lot of time at beloved Asheville, just volunteering in the warehouse because I like organizing things, and warehouse work makes sense to me. And I also do not have the emotional bandwidth to go out in the community and survey damage. I just don't think I would be able to. I'm not that brave. When it comes down to it, I can give you all the material resources to go support people if you're willing to go out and take it to them. But I'm not I don't have enough emotional boundary to get really upset and kind of break if I myself. It's also places that are, it really puts conspiracy theories into perspective when you realize how easy it is for your entire world to be flooded with mud. I don't actually believe in some of those conspiracies, but I do think it's very possible for a whole civilization to just get caked in earth overnight, because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it right now. It's wild to see a ghost town just form overnight. But it's creepy to see the PVC pipes scattered, gnarled, mingled a bunch among the branches along the riverbanks, down the river from the PVC pipe factory. It looks very creepy, skeleton-like, and that factory is one of many potential pollution sources, causing the mud to be caustic and burning through gloves and boots and stuff downriver. There are a lot of places that got not just the damage of the mudslides and the floods, but also the damage of a mass pollution event. So that kind of sucks. There's also a lot of pollution, toxic plumes in our groundwater system already, that are being remediated based on the absence of a flood of this magnitude. And we are seeing a flood of this magnitude. So who knows what all of the pollution plumes underground look like now that the water tables have risen, distributed, and sunk back down. Yeah, I guess I don't have much else to say. We are we're well into Scorpio season, almost halfway through it, and not even done with. I stress to you how much we are not going to have clean water in Asheville City for start pumping out new clean water. But that's only when they're going to start to flush the pipes with clean water. We also haven't really, they're still working on fixing all the leaks in the system. And who water being pushed through the system. Um, it's kind of crazy. We're all just living our prepper fantasies in real life. I mean, this is why I always said it's not crazy to be a prepper, because this is just going to be what normal everyday life is like one day. And here it is. Asheville is just living a little bit ahead of the curve of what life is going to be like in America, or really on Earth, on the planet Earth. We're just like a little bit ahead of schedule, being like kind of the canary in the coal mine of, yeah, we are going to need to use our survival skills in everyday life, starting now, starting soon. So look to people who are doing survival well, look to people who are doing community care well to feel more secure. Things are so crazy here that we don't even. I'm going to speak in broad strokes here, paint with a broad brush. We don't even care about the election. I don't. I mean, people do feel unsafe, but there is a much more immediate need. There is a clear and present danger here, and that is water that threatens your life. Very Saturn and Pisces. Very Saturn and Pisces with Neptune and Pisces to have water turbidity and water toxins be what's the life-threatening part of the water system. Very Scorpio season to have plumbing be a big issue. Didn't I say something about this when the storm hit? I said I have a feeling our plumbing infrastructure is going to be hit because of the Scorpio indications with the astrometeorology of this storm. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm going to have to make a highlight reel of all the things I called. I also start reading from Morphic Resonance as a little section in the show. So I think I'm just going to close out today's broadcast. My welcome back broadcast. It is 4:44 p.m. on 11/11/2024. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 11s. 444. 4. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to read you the description of morphic resonance so that you know what our upcoming broadcast is going to be like. Okay. When A New Science of Life was first published by the British journal Nature called it the best candidate for burning there has been in many years. The book called into question the prevailing mechanistic theory of life when its author, Rupert Sheldrake, a former research fellow of the Royal Society, proposed that morphogenetic fields are responsible for the characteristic form and organization of systems in biology, chemistry, and physics, and that they have measurable physical effects. Using his theory of morphic resonance, Sheldrake was able to reinterpret the regularities of nature as being more like habits than immutable laws, offering a new understanding of life and consciousness. In the years since its first publication, Sheldrake has continued his research to demonstrate that the past forms and behaviors of organisms influence present organisms through direct immaterial connections across time and space. This can explain why new chemicals become easier to crystallize all over the world the more often their crystals have already been formed, and why, when laboratory rats have learned to navigate a maze in one place, rats elsewhere learn it more easily. With more than 2 decades of research and data, Rupert Sheldrake makes and case for the validity of the theory of formative causation can radically transform how we see our world and future. Yeah, this is kind of a really important book in my worldview, in my philosophy. Sheldrake has done it again, folks. Has a really, really interesting take on resonance, and the way that things take form. So I think that I want to add a little bit of that theory into our show more explicitly going forward. And I'm going to be reading from that book, a selection or two every night. So I think this is about it for me for today. I will get back to a real weather analysis broadcast tomorrow, but for tonight, just letting you know, I did survive Hurricane Helene. I have been gone because I was out of power, water, internet, and basically everything that I need to create this show for months now. And I'm back. And yeah, happy 11/11. Make a wish. I made a wish. It was that I could return to broadcast today, and it's happened. So there we go. I love you all very much. Have an excellent evening. I will see you